Alrighty, let's get this party started. Appreciate everybody for being here. Please give it a thumbs up on your way in. Guys, I just got back from a bike ride. Oftentimes, what I like to do to get the creative juices flowing, to get the endorphins flowing, before a live stream, I will go for like a long bike ride through my neighborhood. And I'm telling this story because there's a lot of Trump supporters in my neighborhood. I mean, they got signs, they got flags. It's very patriotic. I mean, there's a ton of Trump supporters. And I'm not, I'm one of maybe a handful of black people live in this neighborhood. And, when I ride my bike through my neighborhood and I see all of these white Trump supporters in their yards, they look at me and you know what happens, guys? Do you want to know what happens? Wait for it. Wait for it. They just wave. They say, "Hey, how you doing, neighbor? How you doing?" That's it. They wave and then they go on about their business. They finish watering their garden or doing whatever they were doing before the black guy rode by on the bike. Now, I know that sounds crazy. It's a phenomenon I can't quite figure out because I've been told for several years that racism is so widespread and it's deeply pervasive in the South and definitely amongst Trump's white supremacist base. Right? You would think that they would all see this black man and call the police, and then I'd be shot dead for no reason. Or at the very least, maybe they would put on some white hoods, chase me down on horseback, follow me to my house, terrorize my family, maybe burn a cross in my front yard. I don't know. I mean, racism is a widespread thing. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, I've traveled coast to coast. I've met tens of thousands of people who are not racist. And I just think that maybe these leftists, these demons are lying. I think that they're trying to just divide us. So I just wanted to tell that little story before we get started. Appreciate everybody for being here. God bless you all. Now, guys, I do have some great news. You guys are going to love this girl right here. I'm going to introduce you to her in a second. Her name is Fiona. Fiona lives in Florida, and she was suspended from school 36 times for wearing a mask. So she got a chance to go address the school board that illegally made her wear a mask and then suspended her 36 times, tried to ruin her education. And so she had this to say to them. I think you guys are going to like Fiona. Here we go.
My name is Fiona Lachuz, and I am in second grade at Discovery Kale Elementary. I am back to talk to you again today. And for anyone who thinks I didn't write my speech last time is wrong. I wanted to be here then, just like I do now. Sorry if I am supposed to be scared when I see people yelling at these meetings. So I am back today, and tomorrow is my birthday. I am going to get suspended if I don't wear a mask for 3 more days. Just because I get suspended for not wearing a mask isn't going to change my mind. You can keep suspending me. I still have the right not to wear a mask. It is not fair that I'm getting punished because you guys, the school board, are not following the law. That is not fair. It just isn't right. I'm still going to stand up for what I believe in, and nothing's going to change my mind. I've been getting suspended a lot because I'm wearing a mask. Do you know how dirty masks are? Because you touch the mask, you put it on your face, you breathe all those germs in because you have lots of bacteria on your hand. Oh, and okay, yeah, I hope you all go to jail for doing this to me. And my family is proud of me, and my Uncle Murphy that is in heaven is really proud of me. And I want to say Burke sucks, but instead of your rules suck.
There you have it, folks. A school board getting schooled by a second grader. God bless Fiona. Fiona knows her stuff. And, this gives you a little bit of hope for the future that somebody as young as Fiona can be outspoken, articulate, speak her mind, stand her ground in the face of getting suspended, getting persecuted, all in the name of protecting her, science and health. And she just completely just destroyed the narrative right there. And I'm curious where the lie is, because I know there's like I said, there's zealots out there. Vaccinate the kids, mask the kids for their health. Parents don't have a say. But where did she lie? If anybody's watching that thinks that was medical misinformation or lies, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. But God bless that second grade girl, Fiona. There was a high school student in Wyoming who not so long ago got arrested for not wearing a mask. See how far they're willing to go to protect you. It's for your health. That's all you need to know, right? Moving along, let's talk about this. This story about YouTube broke yesterday during yesterday's live stream, and so I wasn't able to cover it. This is why I kind of should do this more often at the end of a stream before I wrap up. Just check to see if there are any topics I should cover before wrapping, and that would have been a huge one, but it's fine. So today we'll just cover it now. YouTube decided to step in and remove the dislike button from all of their content creators' channels. They made this executive decision, and of course, it's under the guise of protection, just like with COVID and everything else. This is to protect the little guy. They're always fighting for the little guy. And in order to fight for the little guy, they have to ultimately crush the little guy. All right. So they say, we're trying to protect the little guy. We don't want a bunch of trolls to go and gang up and dislike their videos. So we're going to remove the dislike button. And I mean, there's a couple reasons why they're doing this, and it's very obvious, right? The first reason is not to protect the little guy, but to protect the establishment, the government establishment, specifically Joe Biden. And I find it kind of funny that we have this video right now as we speak. Joe Biden is participating in the National Veterans Day observance. This is a live stream going on right now. I've already contributed my dislike. They haven't yet removed it. But this is a metric by which we can use to measure how popular, apparently the most popular president in United States history is. And it's just not looking so well. And so they have to remove it. And that's what it's about. So I'm going to hit refresh here and see how many downvotes there are now. I guess the stream is over, but you guys can see plain as day, 948 downvotes to 135 upvotes. I wonder how many of those thumbs up are artificial or bots. It's almost like the bots work in the other direction. This is totally ridiculous. It's fully transparent what they're doing. It's so obvious, right? Nothing says this is the most legit president we've ever seen. He totally got 81 million votes. He's very popular. He flipped red states. He was so popular. Nothing says how popular he is like social media stepping in to run defense for him and make it appear as though, actually a lot of people really like him. This is damage control. That is exactly what this is. Every single person knows it. He's not popular. This is a metric for as much as they said Trump was not a popular president, and he wasn't among some people. It was very obvious that there were lots of people who didn't like Trump, but there were also lots and lots and lots of people who did like Trump, which is why you didn't need polls to know how popular Trump was. Go to his rallies. You can see the tens of thousands of people that show up. That's why they jumped on the Tulsa rally. Remember, he held a Tulsa rally last June, right after lockdown started to be lifted. And they were like, look at the empty stands in the Tulsa rally. He's losing support from his base. Now contrast that with his Butler, PA rally, where reported 50,000 plus people showed up. And it was very clear that he was on his way to re-election. Now fast forward to this year, and you've got to disable comments on every single one of these White House videos, whether it's Jen Psaki talking, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, or anybody in this administration. They have to end it. I don't know when this is supposed to go into effect, by the way. I thought it was supposed to be immediately, but it's not, because you can see that these videos, you can still see the down
I know
votes.
a lot of Americans are worried.
A lot of these videos, you can still see all of the down votes versus the up votes. So that's one reason they're protecting him, or that's one reason why they've decided to make this executive decision to change it. The other is to protect corporate interests. All of the woke ads, the propaganda that is forced on us, they prioritize certain content creators, which are just news networks that are trying to go around the fact that people don't want to watch them on TV. So they're like, well, let's just go to YouTube. We'll go to them. If they don't want to come to us, we'll go to them. And YouTube can just prioritize us as authoritative. So it's to protect news networks. It's to protect, Gillette commercials and Twix commercials, which are all oftentimes just social justice messages, propaganda. Or to protect Netflix when they put out like a Cuties trailer. It's just to protect their interest, to protect their image. But all that really does is just make people more suspicious. Like, well, if it's really popular, why wouldn't you allow the upvotes and downvotes? I mean, personally, as a content creator, I like seeing if my video is popular or not popular. It's like, oh, wow, the 3 people downvoted my video versus like 700, huh? Coincidentally, those 3 people that downvote never leave a comment. They never provide a counter argument. Just bitter haters. That's it. But side note, the downvotes versus upvotes is a good measuring stick for every content creator. So they're protecting people like Biden. That's the main person that they're trying to protect his image, as if people can't see what this is really about. Protect the propaganda, but then also content creators that suck. Maybe that would actually help them figure out, hey, maybe YouTube's not for me. Maybe I need to tweak what I'm doing or what I'm saying so I can get better. I mean, how does YouTube just embrace the suck? Like, they just want to get worse? I don't understand this. They must want people to flee and go to alternative social media where free speech can just flourish and your voice can be heard via your approval or disapproval of whatever content you're watching. I mean, think about YouTube. It's not just politics. Let's say you want to find the best video on crock pots or something. Who's got the best review of crock pots? I'm looking at buying one. I want to see which video has the best reviews. And so I'm going to use the like to dislike ratio as well as the comment section to determine if it's worth my 7.5 minutes of watching this video. So this hurts all of the content creators that are not political, but this decision is 100% political, but they claim it's to protect the little guy. I'm curious how many small content creators they consulted before they made this executive decision. My guess would be 0, a big fat 0. We know it, they know it, yet they insult our intelligence anyway to make it seem like we're doing this to protect people who otherwise would be harassed because that person with 500 subscribers on YouTube was getting harassed and a bunch of people were going to downvote their video. Nobody on planet Earth believes that BS lie, and yet they put it out there anyway. So it's sad. I hope that they change course on this. Again, I don't know when it's supposed to go into effect because they said it would be immediately, and yet we'll click on a White House video from a few days ago, and you can see 2,800 downvotes, 406 upvotes. Comments disabled, of course. They don't want you to make your voices heard. Why not have the comments on so that everyone can say, you're doing a great job, Joe. Thanks for building back better. Can't wait to reelect you in 2024. If he's the most popular president in United States history, why not let the comments be open? And I'm sure people who support this decision by YouTube would say, well, because a bunch of right-wing trolls and Trump supporters would go and leave comments and make it look bad. Oh, so you're saying, first of all, that's not a thing. Second of all, what you're saying is there's a lot of those people. So you're saying there's a lot of people that don't like Joe Biden and they would make their voices heard on YouTube by downvoting content they don't like, specifically this super duper popular president? Huh. Well, certainly two things like that can't be true simultaneously. While I'm here, might as well go ahead and contribute my downvote to it. Because I do not support this resident, this occupant of the White House, the Oval Office. So I just think that this is ridiculous. Like I said, personally, I want to see how many people upvote versus downvote my videos. I will never disable the comments, no matter how unpopular anything I say is, because I want to read what people say. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. If people don't like my content, I welcome them. Go ahead. If you're going to dislike, I prefer that you leave a comment, explain why, what it is you don't like, what it is you disagree with. Maybe we can have a discussion. I'm always open for dialogue, debate. That's what we need more of. We need more discussion, not less of it. This is just more polarization, and it's just going to artificially present the illusion that something is more popular than it is, whether it's a political ad, whether it's somebody teaching you how to make cupcakes, somebody teaching you how to fix your car, or whatever it is. Now you won't be able to sift through the rubble to find the gems. So sad that YouTube had to stoop to this level. Why can't they just remain apolitical? It's just so much easier. If I ever operate my own business, like if I ever open up a cookie shop or whatever type of business, I'm not going to put a message saying, in this cookie shop, Black Lives Matter, no human is illegal. I'm just going to say, hey, we sell cookies. Come on in if you're interested. And I'm more likely to get people from both sides of the aisle, because it doesn't matter if I'm in the business of selling food. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take a side. I'm not even going to put a let's go Brandon cookie shop, because I want everybody's business. All money is good money to me. All money spends the same. That's the good, proper business model. So it's sad. It's more polarization that just drives us more apart. We've got parallel economies, and it is what it is. But YouTube, we see right through this trash. Nobody is this dumb. Nobody is actually this dumb. Even people who support Biden, the 10 people or whoever that still support Biden, and the people that look at this, they know exactly what this is. It's about protecting the Brandon administration. You failed, YouTube. You done failed on this one. Moving on to the great governor, Ron DeSantis. Florida sues Biden administration over immigration policy. I hope other states are taking note of this. Kristi Noem, Bill Lee, Greg Abbott. I hope you're taking notice of what our governor is doing here. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. So he is suing the Brandon administration for illegally relocating illegal aliens in the state of Florida. They're flying them into Jacksonville, and apparently they're flying them around the state. They're fanning them out all over the state. Again, we know exactly why that's happening. We know why it's happening. They're bringing them here because they want to flip the state. They want to change the demographics. You're not allowed to say that. It's super racist, but it's true. They're changing the demographics so they can change the people that vote. Their long-range plan is to secure the 29 electoral votes that Florida carries. They want to do the same thing with Texas. It's much easier because you cross the border, you're already in the state that they want to claim. But since they want Florida, they're going to do that. They're going to bring people here. I wouldn't doubt if they're doing the same thing in Ohio. Ohio's got, 18 electoral votes? I wouldn't doubt if we found out that they're flying illegal aliens to Ohio. Now, will Governor Mike DeWine do anything about this? Probably not. He's sort of a rhino, kind of a softie. But nonetheless, Governor Ron DeSantis is suing the Biden administration. We'll see what happens with this. He wrote an executive order, or signed an executive order, that prohibits state agencies under the governor's purview from providing support for the resettlement of illegal aliens to Florida, which is on taxpayer dime, by the way. Florida taxpayers are paying for this. It directs the Florida Department of Children and Families to determine whether licenses for facilities that house unaccompanied minors should be renewed. Calls on Florida Department of Law Enforcement to review Florida companies' compliance with E-Verify requirements. Requires state agencies to gather information regarding the scope and cost of illegal immigration to Florida. Directs Florida Department of Law Enforcement to lawfully gather information on the number and identities of illegal aliens being transported from the border to Florida, and it encourages state law enforcement to detain any vehicle transporting illegal aliens if there is reasonable suspicion it is being used for human or drug trafficking. So you'll see Republicans talk. It's all about lip service. They'll talk about, look at what Biden's doing. Look at this, it's illegal. But none of them take action. Ron DeSantis actually wants to get to the bottom of this. He's investigating who's bringing these illegal aliens in. Why is it happening? When is it happening? Where is it happening? Who's in charge? And let's stop it. But that's not just it. He's going even a step further than that. He is planning to bus these illegal aliens to Delaware. You love to see it. Here's Governor Ron DeSantis.
If they're going to come here, we'll provide buses and provide them. I will send them to Delaware and do that. I mean, if he's not going to support the border being secured, then he should be able to have everyone there. So we will do whatever we can in that regard, and we are absolutely going to do everything we can.
Now, see, guys, this isn't even necessarily spectacular. It feels weird to even celebrate that he's doing this because this should be the standard. Why isn't every United States governor standing up for American citizens, protecting the interests of American citizens? Why is this seen as like a political move, a posture? Why is it even seen as, look at Republicans are doing this? This is great. Every governor should be doing this. If in fact they are representing their constituents, which he clearly is, this should just be the standard, right? But since, he acknowledged, he recognizes that, Biden is doing this, and he spends every weekend in his Delaware beachfront mansion that they just built a wall around, fortified his little house up there with your money. Why not send these illegal aliens there? And I will take it a step further. All of the white liberal areas in Vermont and Maine and Massachusetts, all these little quaint white liberal towns where they go and march and they have signs in their front yard, Black Lives Matter, no human is illegal, let them in, borders are racist. The people that march and campaign and go stand outside of their governor's mansion to demand that they stop Trump's separation policy, all those white liberal areas that just love immigrants, bust these illegal aliens right there. Guaranteed they'll flip on a dime because they don't care about these people. Send these illegal aliens to Martha's Vineyard. Send them to rich elite areas. Send them to Alyssa Milano's house. Send them to LeBron James's neighborhood. Send these illegal aliens to every single neighborhood in America where they stomp the yard for the rights of illegal aliens. And I guarantee you, they'll shut up about it. You won't hear another peep out of them. Just like, if we could determine that all the people crossing the border were going to register Republican, Democrats would build that wall overnight. They would shut down illegal immigration overnight. And we all know it's true. They're trying to work an angle. That's why Biden is offering to pay reparations to illegal aliens in the amount of $450,000. But won't pay reparations to Black people. I'm just saying, I don't support reparations. I'm just saying a lot of people thought that they were going to get reparations. Democrats duped you yet again. Maybe you'll learn this time. But props to Governor Ron DeSantis. He's doing a damn good job. And he's doing such a good job that the Democrats have already conceded Florida for 2022. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Governor Ron DeSantis has already announced that he's running for re-election in 2022. And as a result, Democratic Governors Association may not invest in challenging DeSantis in 2022. You love to see it. The Democrat Governors Association is of the belief that Republican Governor Ron DeSantis stands little chance of losing in 2022 and may therefore withhold financial investment in Florida next year, per Politico. There is a sense two anonymous Florida Democrat consultants in communication with the DGA told Politico that the party is losing viability in Florida, a longtime battleground state that some believe is evolving into a Republican bulwark. So Florida is becoming more red under this guy's leadership. Huh. Very interesting. Well, Nikki Fried, who is just basically campaigning so she can fundraise, I mean, because she knows she has no shot in hell, no chance against DeSantis. She'd be lucky to make it out of the Democrat primary. But she thinks that Florida is not a red state. And she talks a big game. You know, she was holding these like COVID-19 daily press briefings. She was trying to appear and create the illusion, the optics that she is the governor. She wanted people to envision her as the governor. She has no shot. And the Democrat Governors Association won't be wasting any money on her campaign. Florida is a red state. I love this. The DGA spent over $15 million in Florida over the past 2 gubernatorial election cycles. So they're wasting their money. Good. Stay the hell out of Florida. Don't bother spending your money here. It'll just be a waste. All you'll be doing is making people like Andrew Gillum uber rich. Not only do you guys not stand a chance here, you're propping up the worst people. Andrew Gillum was one of the worst. One of the worst. You can't even find someone that's truly viable. So you dump all your money down here. You bring in celebrities to hold concerts for the Democrats. You don't have anybody to run against Ron DeSantis. It's a wrap. And I fully expect that Ron DeSantis will be reelected with historic numbers, landslide fashion in 2022. As long as people turn out and vote. There's still a full year to go. We know that 2022 is going to be full of shenanigans, start to finish. Expect racial riots and all the tension and false flags. Everything is going to be crazy. Just like last year was crazy, next year is going to be crazy. It's an election year. Just get ready. A lot can happen between now and then. But as it stands today, Governor Ron DeSantis is well on his way to a landslide re-election in Florida, and you love to see it. Moving on to COVID-19 news. Minnesota Vikings player is in stable condition after being hospitalized with breakthrough COVID-19 case. So I'm tired of them calling it breakthrough. It's not breakthrough. Breakthrough would be if it's just here and there. Just one in every couple 100,000 people are catching COVID that are fully vaccinated. No, it's not breakthrough. There's stories every single day of people getting breakthrough infections. So Dakota Dozier, age 30, a player from the Minnesota Vikings who was fully vaccinated, contracted a breakthrough case of COVID-19 and was hospitalized after experiencing difficulty breathing, their coach said. So this is scary. I pray for him. I don't know what his medical history is. I mean, he's a football player, so obviously he's in peak shape and health and everything else like that. But yet he's now hospitalized with breathing issues after being fully vaccinated and still catching COVID. You won't hear anyone talk about this as they continue to pound Aaron Rodgers over his status as an unvaccinated, unclean, unhealthy, dangerous person. They're completely ignoring this. I hope he makes it. I mean, I don't know what his status is. I guess he'll probably recover and pull through. I don't really know. I'm just hearing about it this morning. But all he did was what they told him to do, which was get fully vaccinated against COVID-19, do the responsible thing. Don't be a danger to society. Don't be a misinformation super spreader, a dangerous person. So he did his part. He got fully vaccinated. He still caught the virus. And not only did he just catch it, he's been hospitalized. They keep telling you, it'll reduce the risk of you being hospitalized. And of course, they'll say, you know, the skeptics will say, that's just anecdotal, Mike. That's just one incident. Well, when you consider the fact that dozens of European soccer players under the age of 30 have all come down with some kind of heart condition or cardiovascular disease after being fully vaccinated, just pointing that out. Can't go any further with it because YouTube will slap it down. But you guys can pick up what I'm putting down there. I mean, this is a thing that we're supposed to just twiddle our thumbs and pretend isn't happening as we try to mandate this medicine. And we focus, you know, cherry pick Aaron Rodgers, Cole Beasley, Kyrie Irving. Healthy. Aaron Rodgers, completely healthy, unvaccinated, catches COVID, defeats COVID, didn't need to be hospitalized. You got this football player, hospitalized, severe symptoms. Oscar De La Hoya, fully vaccinated, hospitalized, severe symptoms. On and on and on and on. You could go on and on about the people who have fully vaccinated, caught COVID, and had to be hospitalized. But it's just a breakthrough case. You anti-science bigot. I mean, when are people going to wake up, man? Michigan school system closes after large number of teachers become ill from a certain thing. I really have to say that, but you guys can read it here. The algorithms on YouTube will absolutely pick it up if I repeat it, if I say it, if I read it verbatim. But you guys can read it yourself. Michigan school system closes after a large number of teachers become ill from a certain something. Very interesting. I wonder how and why. But hey, if you talk about that, you know, you're basically a criminal, according to Pfizer CEO, who stands to benefit from shutting your voice down if you happen to get his medical injection and you feel some type of way about it physically after. You're not allowed to tell your story. That's why they've disabled the comments on their tweet where they basically called you conspiracy theorists, misinformation spreading criminal. They're lying. They have to lie to keep this narrative afloat. You know your narrative sucks and you miss the mark if it requires lies to not only sell it to people, but to keep it afloat once it starts getting picked apart by facts, truth, and evidence and actual science. Now, climate change news here. You guys know the COP26 thing happened last week, and Greta Thunberg wasn't there. Now, we all know Greta Thunberg has been brainwashed. She has been a puppet for the big lie. She believes in climate change as an existential threat, and it's caused by man, and we got to do something about it. But this was Greta Thunberg outside of the COP26 summit last week.
You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse.
Now, you might think that's no big deal, but the way I see it is this just sheds a bigger light into the phenomenon that's happening on the left. There's something that's happening on the right too. You have the new wave of conservatism, the younger wave, the more energetic wave of conservatism with like Ron DeSantis, people that are America first, against the old guard, the rhinos, the neocons, like the Liz Cheneys and all of them, George Bush. But on the left, you have the same thing happening. You have your old guard establishment Democrats like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And then you've got your AOCs, Ilhan Omars, and you got those people, the more progressive Democrats. Same thing is happening here on the climate change front. Yes, she believes the fake news about climate change is this existential threat and the ocean levels are rising and everyone's going to die, even though all these elite rich people keep buying oceanfront property and flying in these big jets to go to these climate summits to preach climate change. Even though all that stuff is happening, all the hypocrites are preaching it. She acknowledges that they're fake. She knows that it's just for show. It's just theater. Every year when they go out to these summits, and that's what I think she realizes. And so she can no longer be the face of their climate change movement. You know, every human, I suppose, is still capable of free and independent thought. And Greta Thunberg apparently has that free and independent thought. She's criticizing this COP26 thing. She knows that it's a joke. She wants something done, but she realizes that these people in power are just joking. So what they've done, which is why I'm telling you guys about this, what they've done since Greta Thunberg can no longer be the face of their climate change movement, she can't really be a puppet anymore. I mean, she's white anyway. I mean, it's their rules. I mean, she's too white to be the face of this. They have replaced her with another puppet. But not just any puppet, guys. A literal puppet has replaced Greta Thunberg as the climate change face. And it's a minority puppet. This was at the COP26 last week. You can't make this clown world stuff up. I mean, this is so disturbing, so creepy. They literally bring out this minority puppet, which they can fully control, obviously, to be the face of climate change. What even is this? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to speak or what, if it's just going to stand there. It's got handlers.
Okay. Talofa lava. My name is Brianna Fruin, and it is my absolute pleasure to stand by and stand with little Amal today. Before we share with you all today, we'd like to share something with each other. I brought Amal a say, which is a flower like the one I have in my ear, to represent hope and light, and it is my pleasure to gift it to her.
You creeped out yet? Why couldn't it just be a normal size? A giant? I don't get it, guys. This is the timeline we're in. Okay, I guess she's not going to talk. That is enough of that. So yeah, they replaced Greta Thunberg with an actual puppet to be the face of their climate change agenda. Gigantic puppet traveled 800 kilometers, or sorry, 8,000 kilometers in support of refugees. She was introduced on stage by Brianna Fruin, a Pacific climate warrior from Samoa. And I guess this was like Gender Day or something like that. Super weird, super creepy, super awkward. That's where we are. They can't. What else can you even say at this point? They can't use Greta Thunberg anymore. She can't be controlled. And so they might as well have an actual puppet. They might as well have Muppets and puppets be the face of their agenda. It's easier to have Big Bird speak than to have an actual human speak to promote their agenda. Moving on. Jimmy Kimmel. I know, who cares about Jimmy Kimmel? One of the least funny people ever. He is, of course, pushing the agenda or the narrative that Kamala Harris has record low approval for two reasons. There's two reasons people don't like Kamala Harris. You guys know what those two reasons are? Why do you think Americans don't like Kamala Harris? What do you think? Two reasons.
If anything can get the American people fired up, it's infrastructure. So, and Biden is alone. If Americans really aren't happy with his vice president, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris has an approval rating of 28%, which makes no sense because she basically has nothing to do. I mean, it's like criticizing a backup quarterback. Tom Brady's okay. I don't love the way Blaine Gabbert has his legs folded on the bench. I have to be honest. Kamala's approval rating of 28% is even lower than the 30% who approved of Dick Cheney in 2008 after he shot a guy in the face. I think these people are forgetting that at least 10% of those polled approved of Dick Cheney because he shot a guy in the face. I think I know why Kamala's ratings are low, besides sexism and racism, which are...
Oh, there we go. There we go. Sexism and racism is the answer. That's why her approval rating is low. It's not because she is a total fraud. It's not because she's actually unpopular, unlikable. I mean, in the Democrat primary, she was polling last, even in her own state of California. It's because people don't like her gender and the color she was born. And Jimmy Kimmel just told his audience that, and they applauded, of course, because they believe what they want to be true, what they feel is true, instead of what's actually true. Remember, this is the same country that twice elected a black man to be the most powerful person on earth. Twice. So you know it wasn't a fluke. Twice elected Barack Hussein Obama. And now apparently super duper racist. I mean, they're literally writing articles now to prop up this stale narrative that America's such a racist country. They wrote an article about Winsome Sears, and they're basically saying just because Virginia voted for a black candidate, that doesn't mean that they're not anti-black. And they go on to do all of the mental pretzels to basically say Republicans are more likely to be anti-black and support anti-black causes than Democrats. Of course, they don't cite any like real studies. How do you like judge someone's heart? How do you know? They don't know any of that. They just make it up as they go along. They throw as much mud as they can at the wall to see what sticks. And because they're so committed to everything is racist, they cannot backpedal. They're fully bought in, and their base is fully bought in. If they admit that actually it's America's not as racist as we thought or we want it to be, so we're going to back off of that. They're like, no, we got to go further. We have to keep this up. We're in too far now. Because if they admit it, then the people that they're trying to dupe and deceive will awaken to it. For whatever reason they haven't awakened by now, they'll awaken if Democrats come out and admit, if puppets like Jimmy Kimmel, propagandists like this admit, guys, this is getting ridiculous, calling everything racist, even the election of a black woman by white people, calling that racist and white supremacist is just taken a little bit too far. You know, it's just like with this Kyle Rittenhouse case. They're calling him a white supremacist for shooting white people. They're saying that that's white supremacist. They call him a racist. No evidence whatsoever that he's racist. They continue to lie about that. It's backfiring on them. I mean, they went from overplaying their hand to acknowledging that they're losing. Like they realize that they're losing. They understand it, but they can't admit that they're losing. They thought that there was no way they could lose. We're too big to fail now. We got this machine going. We got Biden in there. Let's push forward with critical race theory. Let's indoctrinate the kids. And now that parents find out, now they're like, well, we can't go back on it. We have to just keep going. Even though we're losing, we just lost. We just got a tremendous backlash in this election cycle. Let's just keep going. Let's just triple down on the everything is racist, including the election of a black woman, including Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's just keep going with this racist narrative. And so before we get to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, let's see what they're saying on CNN.
Jeffrey, two thoughts. Yeah. Two thoughts. One, what kind of idiot 17-year-old gets a giant gun and goes to a riot? He has no license. He has no training. He thinks he's going to scrub graffiti off with his AR-15. I mean, the stupidity of this is like, what could possibly go wrong? Well,
now what you just heard was a man who masturbated in front of his coworkers live on a Zoom call refer to someone else as stupid and an idiot. I repeat, a man who masturbated in front of his coworkers on a Zoom call meeting, who got rehired by this network. They couldn't find a single other person to say what he just said. They had to specifically have the Zoom call masturbator come back on their network to call someone else an idiot. I just had to play that because that's just peak level clown world insanity by CNN. And people still watch this. How does anybody watch this guy? How do you sit next to him, take him seriously after he committed a crime? I mean, I don't think any of his coworkers consented to seeing him do that, his disgusting act on a Zoom call. But, you know, birds of a feather, they all just kind of flock together. I personally don't know a single soul who would do that. I don't. But this is just a casual, like, yeah, don't you know somebody that's a pedophile, a human trafficker, someone that jerks off on camera? Don't you know somebody like that? That's how they act. They're so casual with it. Let's have him come back. Let's get Jeffrey Toobin's insight, his unique and strategic and well thought out intellectual insight into the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And of course, he peddled lies about him crossing the state with a firearm. lies about him being a murderer, just lying about everything. Lying propagandists, masturbators, that's what CNN has devolved to. Just when you think they cannot go any lower, they get a shovel and start digging. So the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which I actually was supposed to pull up my Twitter so we could just get an update here. I don't really know what's the latest on it because the case is ongoing. I mean, I hope that we get a verdict this week. I really don't know at this point. We'll check in with the trusty Jack Posobiec here and see what has been posted recently on it. Activate Judge Cookie Monster. I don't know what that means, but he said Binger just attacked Drew H. Live for retaining a lawyer. Schroeder having nothing of it. What's the relevance of this? So this prosecutor keeps going back and forth with the judge. That's funny. The prosecutor has pissed off this judge. And apparently the judge yesterday, his phone went off. He didn't have his phone on silent. And it was playing the I'm Proud to Be an American song that Trump comes out to. So you know there is a leftist meltdown. He is a Trump judge. This should be a mistrial on the basis of the fact that he didn't vote for Joe Biden. He's a Trump supporting judge. Which obviously means he's going to let Kyle Rittenhouse off the hook. Not because Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, but because Kyle Rittenhouse himself is a white supremacist Trump supporter. You know, all the people that peddled these lies about Kyle Rittenhouse had zero evidence to back that up. Again, calling it white supremacy when all white people were involved in this situation, including the trial itself. It's all white people. And they're calling it white supremacists. Can't make it up. So we'll see what happens, what goes on in this case, this trial. I'm praying that the right thing happens. God is watching this. You know, this is very, very troubling. Nothing about this case is funny or entertaining. It's all very disturbing. The people want to see an innocent person go to prison because they don't like the color of his skin. That's what it's about. If he was a black dude and he was defending himself, AR-15 or not, would this even be a thing? Would he have been arrested? No. Especially when you got all this evidence that absolves him of any wrongdoing. I mean, everybody watching this with a critical lens and they're like playing armchair detective, like he shouldn't have done this, he should have done that, right? What would they have done in that situation? What would you do if someone chased you down with a gun, tried to kick you in the face while you were on the ground, tried to beat you with a skateboard, said that they were going to kill you? What would you do if you had a gun to defend yourself? I mean, there's no better case for why you need an AR-15. If you got like 10 people after you, they want you to have like a 6-shot revolver. Just shoot him in the hand. That's always what they say in these police shootings. Why didn't the cop just try to shoot him in the hand? Like, why did they just, these people, you just can't make it up. So anyway, you got LeBron James, of course, the intellectual heavyweight that is LeBron James, had to weigh in and say, what tears? I don't see one tear. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court. Now, this is the same LeBron James that wanted a cop who saved a black girl from being stabbed to death to go to jail. In the most literal sense, these people side with criminals. They defend criminals. They themselves oftentimes are criminals. I mean, LeBron James clearly has no soul. How do you have a soul? First of all, you defend China, communist China, Uyghur Muslim enslavement, internment camps, you know, all of the evil that goes on in China. You defend them because you got money ties in China. You criticize a cop and say that he's next when he defended a black girl from being stabbed to death. He would rather that black girl be a victim. Just, yeah, you should have let that black girl get stabbed to death instead of intervening, you white cop. That's LeBron James's official stance on that. The stabbing in Ohio, he was okay with that black girl being stabbed to death, even though that cop saved her life and shot to death the other girl, you know, the actual criminal in the situation. LeBron James defended her. And so LeBron James wants this kid to go to jail for life. You know, they're defending the people that tried to kill Kyle Rittenhouse. One of them, a convicted child molester. So they love these criminals. Mind you, everything that happened in Kenosha last summer, the burning down of Kenosha, Wisconsin, was because of another criminal, Jacob Blake, who had an altercation with the police in which he got shot. They defended Jacob Blake, a criminal. George Floyd, a criminal. Michael Brown, a criminal. You have organized retail crime in cities all across America because they've decriminalized their crime. Prosecutors are soft on crime. Bail reform, they want criminals back on the streets. Like I said, in the most literal sense, these people side with, defend, go to bat for, celebrate with statues, criminals. They put a criminal in the Oval Office. They look the other way as his son commits crimes. Crimes against humanity. Fauci, crimes. They don't care. They defend criminals. They are criminals. That's what we're up against. It's spiritual warfare. Criminals, evil, wicked, liars. They want to see Kyle Rittenhouse thrown under the prison because they don't like him. And the main reason they don't like him is because he's white. That is the real reason. I would have more respect for them if they could just be honest and say it. They can't actually be honest and say that the reason why they don't like him is because he's white. So he's wrong. You know? So anyway, last thing I got to talk about here is an update. You know, this Astroworld festival, the more that we learn about it, the worse that it sounds. As we uncover more details, Astroworld staff instructed to refer to dead concert goers as Smurfs, according to the event plan. So Astroworld staff were instructed to refer to dead concert goers as Smurf, according to a 56-page security and emergency medical response plan. The document stresses staff should never use the term dead or deceased over the radio, and that the 2021 Astroworld Festival's plan did not specifically address protocols for crowd surge. So did they anticipate deaths at this concert? I mean, that seems oddly specific to put in your protocol. And the fact that you can't refer to them over the radio as deceased because you don't want to cause a panic or something, even though that's what was happening anyway. I mean, it just adds to the suspicion, along with the occult symbols and the portal to hell and the way they promoted it and the reports of people being injected and everything else that went into this dark ritual, this event where people just coincidentally died. You know, satanic panic is just a right-wing evangelical conspiracy theory. What is this? Referring to dead people as Smurfs? I don't know if this article specifically says what Smurfs means, but they do reference that it's like Smurfs, like the cartoon Smurfs. But I don't know if it's an acronym for something. I don't know what it means, but how do you not have a better plan in place, including an exit strategy for people in case of a crowd surge, which happens more often than not at Travis Scott concerts? I think the only good to come out of this is I don't think he's going to be holding any concerts anytime soon. I just have a feeling that because this went so poor, this was such a tragedy. I don't think that this is going to be happening anymore. And I think a lot of people have awakened and maybe they're done going to concerts like this, especially when there's several signs that it's not a positive atmosphere and there's a lot of negative energy at these shows. I think people are starting to awaken to that. You know, I was actually just contemplating the other day, full disclosure, I have been a hip hop fan my whole life. I've listened to so many songs over the years. And when I go back and look at some of the song lyrics, just overt satanic references in the music, and I would just casually listen to it back in the day. It's just crazy how much that stuff is out there. And then, you know, an event like this, a festival like this, led to the deaths of at least 8 people that we know of. There could be more than that because there are still people hospitalized. So like I said, guys, we're in dark times right now. We are in dark times, which is why focusing on the light is all that more important. Focusing on the light and the unity and the love and the positivity that is happening, especially in cities like New York, where people are coming together. Any chance I can get to highlight something like that, I'm all over it. If there was an event anywhere near me right now, I would go to it right now. If it's people coming together, standing up for what's right, standing up for the unborn, standing up for your God-given rights to be a free, sovereign person, independent of government, I'd be all over it, you know? But unfortunately, the dark, wicked agenda to destroy humanity has just been overbearing. So what we can do in the meantime is just continue to call it out, expose it, shine a light on that darkness, and hope that more people awaken to it. It's sad and tragic that it took basically a satanic occult-like ritual for people to awaken to the spiritual activity destroying humanity. But it is what it is. You got to meet people where they are. I hope that more people decide to leave these hellscapes that are these Democrat-controlled cities where crime is on the rise, rape is on the rise. You know, all this crime is happening and criminals are being let out. Criminals are being defended while innocent people are being persecuted. Inversion of reality. I mean, you name it, it's happening. So I think I've covered everything and we're right at an hour. So let me get the comments over here on the screen. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Please spread the word about this channel. As Sean just said in the chat, appreciate you, Sean. Help the channel grow. Hit that like button. As Rachel just said, appreciate the moderators for reminding people of that. Thank you so much. Someone said rap died in 2005. You know, hip hop actually used to be really positive. Hip hop was about like the art form. It wasn't just the lyrics and the dancing and stuff. It was performance, no doubt, but it was like more cultural. It felt almost wholesome. It was more about the lyrics and the rhymes and the talent. Now it's just about an agenda. It's just about promoting degeneracy and filth. Why do you think the most popular songs that are strategically curated and played on radio stations are all promoting degeneracy? And it's just gotten more and more dark. I don't listen to any modern day hip hop. I really don't. It's all just trash now. It's like not even nearly as talented as it used to be. It used to be about storytelling and art. And now it's just dark. It's dark. The symbolism. Go look at magazine covers. They covered one eye. What is that? How come nobody ever questions, why is it that all these celebrities cover one eye on a magazine cover? How come nobody asks that question? We just accept it as normal. They just normalize their satanic symbolism, their occult worship. They just normalize it. Hey, this is just what happens. Just don't ask questions. DC Capital, Bryson Gray, Tyson James, Omar Shabazz, MAGA Gang. Yeah, you got this new age of rappers coming out. And I do support that rap because it has more of a positive tone to it. It is positive music. Rapping about life, rapping about God, rapping about family, rapping about love of country, not hatred and gangs and shooting and drugs and violence and strippers and stupid stuff that only destroys the human spirit. You got Bryson Gray. You even got my guy that I had on the channel about a month ago, Black Pegasus. He's comedic with his. He's funny. He's mocking he mocks a lot of what's going on right now with the China virus and the injections they want us to take. Someone said, have a great night, Mike. I'm a classic trance vinyl DJ. And that scene died back in around 05 and 06 as well. Only recently have classic trance tracks been coming back stronger. Same with vinyl. See, I like a lot of EDM. I listen to a lot of that. Just music, just the beats. That stuff is good. Or I'll listen to classic oldies, man, of all genres. Classic rock, classic hip hop, reggae, all of that stuff. Bob Marley, good music. Hey, yo, keep doing your thing, Mike. Appreciate you. Most celebrities and politicians are adrenochrome junkies, a part of this Illuminati cult, devil worshippers. I mean, they don't really hide it. They just don't. Has anyone ever explained those emails? The WikiLeaks emails. Has anyone ever explained what they were referring to in those emails? I don't think they have. To this day. Oh, that's good to know. Somebody said, light up the darkness. Yes. Light has no fellowship with darkness, ladies and gentlemen. Pritzker released thousands from prison and jail right before the pandemic began. Pritzker also closed down many mental health institutions before the pandemic too. Yeah, when is the inevitable corruption in Illinois going to be unearthed? Illinois has a long-standing history of corruptions dating back to Al Capone, probably even before that. How many Illinois politicians are in prison right now? Congressmen, state congressmen, senators, mayors, governors, former police chiefs, prosecutors. How many of them are in jail right now? I'm pretty sure there's like a documentary or case studies done on the corruption in Illinois specifically. New York State is another corrupt state. They're so corrupt. These people are so corrupt, man. And they love to lie about everything that they do. They lie. They keep teaching lies in school. That's why I love to see all these parents pulling their kids out of this system. The system of indoctrination and lies. There was a party switch once upon a time, and now the Republican Party is racist. Yes, says the people that openly discriminate based on race, based on political affiliation, based on vaccination status. They promote discrimination right now from 1821 to 1921 to 2021. They support, promote, and sanction discrimination. Now they just found a new way to divide people. The clean versus the unclean. Illinois is communist, y'all. I don't know why the comments are rolling in kind of slow. I wish DeWine would give up on the vaccine incentives. So embarrassing. Yeah, Mike DeWine is a rhino if there ever was one. He's not a true Republican. He had a curfew in place for Ohio residents as late as October of last year. Remember when the pandemic really exploded in the country? That was like March of last year, right? Roughly around March. And all the way in October, he had a curfew in place. And then, of course, he had the vaccine lottery, offering free rides, scholarships for people to get vaccinated. So Ohio is ripe for the picking. I guarantee you, Democrats are not going to give up on Ohio. And they probably shouldn't. I mean, if we're being honest, they probably shouldn't, because they got a governor that's pretty weak. So why wouldn't they? Florida, I think they've already kind of ceded that. They've already conceded Florida. They know they're not going to win Florida. They're going to dump a bunch of money into Texas, though. Guaranteed that. Be on the lookout for Texas next year. Texas is going to be ground zero. So maybe it is that they're going to shift their focus away from Florida. DeSantis is way too popular. He's a juggernaut. They know it's a waste of money to go up against him. But Texas, watch it. Watch Texas have a bunch of political issues just pop up on top of caravans coming next year. Be on the lookout for Texas. Watch out for Ohio. Of course, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, those are very vulnerable states. Anyways, I have said everything I need to say. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Please, if you would, give this stream a thumbs up. The best thing you could do is give it a thumbs up for now. And, if you don't like what I had to say, I mean, for the time being, you can downvote it. I mean, you're still allowed to do that. But YouTube eventually is going to take that away. I don't know if it's today or when it's going to happen, but it's a matter of time before you will not be able to downvote the videos. But hopefully you upvote the video. I prefer that. That will help the channel grow. That will help the views grow. That will help get the word out. But I appreciate everybody from the moderators to the super chatters. And before I forget, I got a PayPal donation yesterday, and I want to make sure I acknowledge that person. Joseph, thank you, Joseph, for your PayPal donation in the amount of $17.76. I see what you did there. God bless you. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thanks to everyone else for tuning in, supporting this channel. It's possible I will not be able to do a live stream tomorrow. It's going to be a wait and see thing. We got a 5-month checkup for the little guy. So I don't know. It's a busier day for me. So wait and see on that one. But nonetheless, I appreciate you all for tuning in. God bless you. I'll catch you in the next stream.